Talking about the ghetto. Funky, funky ghetto. Trying to survive, trying to stay alive. The ghetto. The ghetto. Talking about the ghetto.
Good evening, and welcome to the Militant Negro YouTube channel. I'm your host, JB, and I'm going to talk tonight about a couple of news items related to this past Tuesday's election that mainstream media has neglected to report much about. They're very busy putting the Not My President protest of Donald Trump all over the news. They don't have time to report on these two stories, and I understand that in a way because, you have to report on what sells advertising space and what gets people all riled up. So these two stories I'm going to tell you about don't fit that criteria. The first one is about Alabama County. They elected 9 women to become judges, but not just any 9 women. These were 9 Negro women. And this is what the report has to say about Jefferson County, Alabama. In a great stride for representation Tuesday, 9 black women were elected to become judges in majority Democratic Jefferson County, Alabama. The Birmingham Times are reporting this. The black women who came out on top in the district and circuit courts are all Democrats. Now I'm going to try to read these names correctly. Javon Patton, Deborah Bennett Winston, Shara Craig Grant, Nikita Perryman Blockton, Tamara Harris Johnson, Elizabeth French, Agnes Chappell, Bernadette Brown Green, and Annette Veron. All are to be sworn in next January. My congratulations to all those women. They did something that 10 years ago would be unheard of. Hell, 5 years ago would be unheard of. And that is something that the media should be reporting. And when I say media, I mean mainstream media. Not the Birmingham paper, but national newspapers should have this plastered everywhere. But instead, we're all focused on hashtag Not My President protest. Again, that's a designed thing. Tuesday night was a big night for women of color across the states, not just local politics, but in federal positions as well. 3 women of color, Catherine Cortez Matzo, Tammy Duckworth, and Camilla Harris, were elected to the Senate. Stephanie Murphy and Pamelia J-Pal were also elected to the House. Next year, there will be 38 women of color serving in Congress, bringing us a little bit closer to shattering the glass ceiling. That is fantastic news, but again, not reported very much in the mainstream media because it does not sell papers, it does not sell advertising space, it does not help incite a race war. Now, let's move on to the record number of minority women selected to be in the Senate. Even as the top of the Democratic ticket lost big on election night, Democrats can still take comfort in another record-breaking moment. Tuesday, American voters elected an unprecedented number of minority female lawmakers to the Senate, bringing the total of minority women on the upper chamber to 4. Yes, just 4. California Attorney General Camilla Harris, who is part African American and part Indian American, won her Senate race against another woman of color, Loretta Sanchez. Harris will be the first Indian American to serve in the Senate. Following her is Representative Tammy Duckworth, who was born in Thailand to an American father and a Thai mother. She won her Senate battle in Illinois against incumbent Senator Mark Kirk. The win for Duckworth, who is a double amputee who lost her leg serving in the Iraq War, is especially notable after Kirk cracked a racially tinged joke about her Thai heritage and her family's history of military service during a closely watched Senate debate. Out of Nevada, former Attorney General Catherine Cortez Masto, who is Hispanic, won her tight race against Republican Rep. Joe Heck for the seat of retiring Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid. She will be the nation's first Latina senator. The three joined Hawaiian Senator Mazie Hirono, who immigrated from Japan when she was 7 years old. Hirono was elected in 2013, is the only woman of color currently serving in the upper chamber and only the second non-white woman to be elected to the Senate. The first was Illinois Senator Carol Moseley Braun, in office between 93 and 99. Now, again, these are historic happenings. These are things that happened on Tuesday night when everybody was focused on Donald Trump's upset victory of Hillary Clinton. Nobody paid attention to these races because they were not important. But in fact, they are just as significant as Donald Trump winning the presidential election, because it shows a few things about the thought process of the United States of America. The other thing that happened on Tuesday night that people are not really talking about is marijuana legislation. Marijuana legislation in some states happened to allow medicinal and recreational use of marijuana to be legal. Now, I don't currently have those states at hand, but I read about California being one of them. I'm not sure about that. You'll have to Google or Yahoo or Bing to find out if that is correct. But that legislation of marijuana being legalized and used for medicinal purposes were on a lot of ballots in a lot of states. And surprisingly enough, it passed in quite a few. So check your state to see if you can now purchase marijuana for medicinal purposes, which is really all I care about. The recreational use of marijuana, that's not really a big concern of mine, because people, being people, are going to buy weed and smoke it recreationally no matter what anybody said. But the medicinal aspects of marijuana are what concern me, being diabetic and being a person who knows that marijuana can help diabetes in many different ways. That is a concern of mine. It is a great move forward when marijuana can now be bought medicinally in states. It's important for those people suffering from all types of ailments, from chronic pain to cancer. But again, it's not front page news. It's not something that the media wants you to know about or cares to inform you about, because they're busy with the Not My President protests. Now here's a funny thing about that. I read and listened to videos saying that a lot of the protesters in this hashtag Not My President protest are hired protesters who got the job opening offer off of Craigslist, and they are paid to be out there protesting. Yes, let me repeat that. Many of the protesters in this Not My President nationwide protest fiasco are paid protesters who were hired by answering an ad on Craigslist. And as usual, human beings, being the silly people that they are, or the silly species that they are, could not keep their mouths shut about this. They had to open up and brag and talk and reveal that they were hired off of Craigslist to organize and protest against President-elect Donald Trump. And, you know, it's not shocking. Human beings can't keep their mouths shut. And most things that are done in the dark and that are evil and nasty come to light. That just happens because we're humans. We can't be quiet. We gotta talk and brag about the evil shit we do. So all the people who thought these protests were just a group of people sick and fed up of Donald Trump and his racist rhetoric during the campaign, they did not just willy-nilly show up. They did not agree and converge at one point all across these American cities by chance. It was organized, orchestrated, and put together by somebody who wants a race war. People hear me say that and they shake their heads. Oh, JB's a conspiracy theorist. Well, in fact, JB does not believe in conspiracy theories. JB believes in facts and truth and evidence. I'm also stymied a bit by all the people of color, women, people in the gay and lesbian, transgender, and bisexual community who voted for and supported Hillary Clinton, but have a problem, have a real deep issue with Donald Trump. Here's some facts that people are trying to ignore, but I refuse to allow them to ignore these facts. The Clintons, both Bill and Hillary, are the biggest, most racist, most evil, nasty people, power couple, politicians I have come across in the past 40 years. The Clintons will pee on you, that's right, I said urinate, and tell you it's free shower that they're providing. That's how gullible they think people of color, women, minorities, people in the gay and lesbian community are. They tell you they're for the Negro. They tell you that they want to change things and make them better for people of color and minorities, for students, for veterans, for all that shit, the homeless, the hungry. They give you this load of crap and garbage. They have a whole foundation set up to assist people when it's actually just stealing money for their bank account. The Clintons tell you all these things and they turn around and do just the opposite. They pushed through the 1994 crime bill. Hillary and her husband Bill, who was president at the time, they pushed that crime bill through, which was the basis, which led to mass incarceration, which is targeted at people of color, for the express purpose of filling up the prisons, which are then turned over to privately owned prison complex businesses to create the prison industrial complex. That was the Clintons that did that, okay? Then they turn around and tell you, hey, we so much love people of color. But Hillary calls kids like Tamir Rice super predators. Yet and still, a group of mothers who lost their children, people of color mothers who lost their people of color children to cops who executed them while they were unarmed, got on stage during one of Hillary's campaign stops and hugged her and pledged their support for her. And I'm still trying to figure that out. These same mothers who are mothers of the kids that were killed by policemen who Hillary identified as super predators. Kids, 12-year-old Tamir Rice, your children, super predators. Yet people of color voted for this woman and support her husband. These are two of the most racist politicians I have seen. They're sneaky, they're evil, they're underhanded, they do their shit in the dark and under the table and behind closed doors, and then they come out into the public and shine like they are the beacons of respectability. And people buy that shit by the truckload. But the thing about Donald Trump, who again I do not admire, I do not respect, I do not like, I did not vote for, and I don't support, is this. Donald Trump is honest about what he is. The man is not going to lie to you and tell you, hey, everything is cool, everything is sunshiny, and peace and love, and then turn around and do his dirty, racist, nasty shit in the dark. He tells you up front what he does not like, who he does not like. Now, between those two types of people, one who is honest and upfront about what he is, and one who lies and steals and cheats and backstabs, I would rather have Donald Trump in the Oval Office than Hillary Clinton if I have to choose between those two. But again, the media wants to slay Donald Trump for being Donald Trump, while giving Hillary and Bill Clinton clean slates, total passes to be evil, nasty, despicable people who hide in the dark. I'm not sure America is ready for truth and facts on any subject because they allow this type of media reporting, this type of biased journalism to succeed. I don't want to spend all my time talking about that subject, but it bugs me to see people protesting against Donald Trump when nobody ever protested against Bill Clinton or his wife Hillary Clinton. Not one person was out in the street chanting, marching, carrying signs when anything the Clintons did came to light. I ask myself and you people, why is that? Why are we so selective about the races we choose to love and the races we choose to hate, when we should be like just down on anybody who's racist? We should hate all racism. We as a human species should work to rid this planet of racism, period, regardless of who it is. And I feel sad and sorry for any person of color from any minority who's out in the street protesting Donald Trump, because you're being lied to, as I've said before, you're being manipulated, you're being misinformed, and you're swallowing it hook, line, and sinker, just like a big mouth bass. Wake up, people. Wake up, America. Wake up, the world. The Clintons are bad people. They both can smile and laugh in your face and plunge a knife in your back to the hilt. That is their operational moment. That's how they do it. They convince people that they are for humanity because they have a foundation. But in simple terms, people, the Clintons are evil, money-grubbing manipulators, out for themselves, crying about being broke while making millions from just appearances and speeches and talks. We have to focus in 2016 and 2017 and all the years ahead on the positive things that happen. And Tuesday night, November 8th, 2016, there were many positive results from that election. Outside of the fact that Hillary got her ass whooped, there were positive results. Women of color were elected to positions in office they could never have had before. Hillary talks about the glass ceiling not being broken because she lost. Here's some news for you, Hillary. The glass ceiling was smashed on Tuesday night by women of color getting elected to state and federal office. You ignore it because you didn't win, but they won. They didn't ride your coattails. They rode their own coattails. They campaigned for truth and justice and the real American way. So although you didn't win, people of color, women of color were victorious on election night. That just goes to show you how selfish the Clintons are. She figures, Hillary does, because she lost. It was a unsuccessful night. The glass ceiling was smashed on Tuesday night. Trust me when I tell you that. I am congratulating all the above named women who won and give hope to the women who lost to keep trying. Don't give up. If these women can do it, you can do it. Women, get out there. Run for office. Campaign. Put your names out there. Put your platforms out there. Keep doing it. Do not give up if you were not successful Tuesday night. Because ladies, we need you. No matter what your color, no matter what your race is, no matter what your party affiliation, America needs women in public office. Let's do this. I appreciate all you guys listening to me. Have a great November. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this channel. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be well. Namaste, my people. Namaste.